everyone, I'm Catherine and welcome back to Purposeful Fridays for 2019. Hope you had a fantastic Christmas and that you've started the new year in a positive note and ready to tackle all the opportunities that come your way during the year. Christmas is the reason for this topic actually. Today we're talking about clutter, and I don't think anyone can deny that with Christmas comes a lot more clutter than usual. You have decorations out in the living areas, you're surrounding yourself with more people than you normally would during the year, you have more food in the kitchen, you're cooking more, the kitchen's more of a mess to entertain all your friends and your family. And anyone who knows me well, knows I can't stand clutter. It drives me insane. It keeps me distracted, unfocused, and I guess it actually makes me stressed. I just don't like having clutter around. Everything has a place and a home, and when it's finished being used, it needs to be put away into that home. So clutter tends to get a bit of a bad rap. And I think there's some probably pretty valid reasons for that. There's been much research and many studies on clutter and the impacts it has on your mind and body. And these are some of the impacts. So clutter does actually make you more stressed, whether you realise it or not. It can impact your health. Cluttered homes tend to accumulate more dust, which in turn can impact respiratory problems, or if you already have existing problems like sinus or asthma, can actually trigger that and make that worse. But it can also actually impact your eating habits. There's been studies that have shown that cluttered homes and kitchens in particular will result in people tending to grab more processed and fast food type options like cookies and biscuits and cake, whereas decluttered homes people will tend to take the time to prepare a meal in a clean kitchen. It obviously decreases your productivity because you're constantly distracted by all the noise around you. It also apparently can create bad spending habits because you just spend without any purpose. It impacts your sleep, so if your bedroom is cluttered, it disturbs your sleeping habits, whether it's the pile of laundry on your floor or whether it's a disorganized closet, overflowing closet. It will impact, even if you don't realize, your sleeping patterns. People that live in a cluttered environment tend to be more moody. And of course, we all attach emotion to the things that we own. And sometimes we keep things that have a negative emotion attached to them. So it can also impact your moods in that way. But that's just the physical environment. I tend to find that if your physical environment is cluttered, it's a reflection of what's going on internally. You have this mental clutter in your mind and your brain. So you're very disorganized, you're very unstructured, you've got all these random thoughts going around and spinning around in your head, and they just won't go away. They keep coming back and coming back, which results in you being very unfocused and you're distracted. And the studies show that you also have less efficient thinking. It takes you longer to process the information and I guess connect the dots with all that clutter that's going around in your head. So if that is the negative impacts of clutter, it makes a lot of sense to declutter and have a much more organized, minimalistic home and mind. So what are the benefits of decluttering? Well, firstly, your concentration. When you have a clutter-free home, you improve your productivity because you're not being distracted, you're more focused on the things that you've got to get done. You have improved sleep, which is good for everybody, and that can ultimately result in a better mood. You're more likely to achieve your goals. So when you're more focused, when you're more productive, you get more things done, and you get them done quickly or quicker than you would normally. And another massive benefit, it reduces that anxiety and stress. So how do we go about decluttering the mind and the environment? Well, physically it seems obvious, right? You just progressively work through each room or environment and remove those things that you just don't need or don't use. I have a couple of strategies. If I buy a new outfit, then an outfit has to go. I know somebody who has a certain number of coat hangers. So again, similar concept. When things come home, something has to go because she won't buy new coat hangers. Similarly, if I haven't used something or worn something in 12 months, it's gone. Because if I haven't used it or worn it in 12 months, chances are I'm not going to use it. So they're just a couple of little strategies. But how do you declutter the mind? How do you mentally declutter? You'll actually be really surprised that when you declutter your physical environment, how much that actually helps to begin to declutter your mind. You'll feel lighter, you'll feel less stressed. You'll automatically start that mental decluttering just by physically decluttering. But other things you can do is set really realistic personal goals, things that mean something to you that you really want to achieve, and then implement strategies or tools that work for you to keep you focused on those goals. Because when you focus your thinking and your actions, there's no room for clutter, because you're keeping your thoughts and controlling your thoughts and keeping them focused on what matters most to you. Carry a journal everywhere, because journaling will not only help sort your thoughts out into what's important and what's not important, it'll help you come to conclusions about certain thoughts so that you don't have to keep thinking about them over and over again. It'll help you process those thoughts. And if you've got things you need to get done and need to do, you can jot down your to-do list and get them out of your head so that they're not constantly reminding you that you've got to do this or do that. And another activity which I find extremely useful is mindfulness, or some form of exercise that requires you to focus on the present moment, whether that be yoga or some form of karate, tai chi, where you're actually strengthening the mind and staying focused on the present. So this Purposeful Friday, I want you to have a look around and think about how you might be able to start decluttering your physical environment, and look internally and ask yourself, do you have a bit of a clutter in your mind as well that could do with some decluttering? Have a fabulous weekend, and I will see you next Purposeful Friday. Bye.